I'm building a clock that tells the time using marbles. I've already built one that shows hours and minutes, but I got tricked by the comments to build one that shows seconds, and that's where we are now. If this makes no sense to you, there is a playlist link in the description. After watching that, this will still make no sense to you, but at least you will know what I'm talking about. In the last video, we added this cardan shaft in here to bring power from this motor in here that already powers the marble selector mechanism to the elevator, where we added this Geneva drive mechanism. So the elevator only aligns with the ramps when the selectors are in the center position releasing marbles. So no marble will ever get stuck midway between the elevator and the ramp. Everything is connected. And at the end of the video I had this small issue where the cardan shaft broke in what I thought was just a miscalculation when choosing the material for the parts for this cardan shaft. But that's not why the cardan shaft broke. When I was designing the elevator, I took into account how much time will it take for the marbles to transfer from the elevator to the ramps, but just one by one, because there is no way that any ramp is going to be releasing more than one marble per cycle on each channel. But that's not always the case. On the first run, when the clock is empty and there are no marbles on the ramps, up to 5 marbles can roll from the elevator to the ramps, and there might be not enough time to do it on the time the elevator is stationary between cycles. This should only happen on the first run, and I could even prime the ramps manually before starting the clock. But until I have the full marble circuit complete, I'm feeding the input ramp by hand. So this rare event happens all the time because I cannot keep up with the clock. So channels get emptied all the time, and I fear that marbles get stuck between the elevator and the ramps when that happens. Not all the time, but sometimes. And after recording the video, I was reading the comments and saw that many of you thought that the cardan shaft breaking was a good thing. Sort of a mechanical fuse. If the cardan shaft breaks through a pre-designed weak spot and it is easy to change, it could protect the rest of the mechanism just in case the elevator gets stuck. And that got me thinking. Sure, there has to be someone that has found this useful before, a system, a mechanism that disengages power transmission without breaking and then can be reset without changing any parts. The first mechanism that comes to mind is a clutch, but a clutch requires external input, and we need a system that trips automatically. And searching for a solution that works automatically is when I found about torque limiters. A torque limiter is just a device that connects two axles through a mechanism that limits the amount of torque that is transferred. That is usually made through friction, which I don't like. I'd like to be able to let the clock run unattended, and a friction mechanism can end up in disaster in more than one way. And that's when I found about magnetic torque limiters. Magnets! The idea is that the two shafts are connected through magnets. The magnets are aligned, and the limiter disengages when the torque is higher than the attraction force between the magnets. I don't know about you, but this looks like the perfect solution to me. There is no contact between the two sides, and it resets itself, so this is what I'm going to try. So I've printed these two wheels that have slots for the magnets. I think that the reasonable spot to mount this torque limiter is right here. So I added the right brackets to mount the discs, this one for the input shaft and this one to connect to the cardan shaft. Each wheel needs two bearings because both need to rotate independently, and as I need the magnets to be as close as possible, one wheel goes inside the other. Magnets have wild personality, and I don't think they'll agree to stay on the slots by themselves, so I've made this disc that will hopefully keep the magnets in place, and I made another one for the outer wheel. And now I need to get the magnets on the wheels, and with magnets, as with marbles, things are never that easy. With the clock as it stands, there is a single position between this wheel and the cardan shaft where everything works, and any other position will make the clock explode, or something similar. And right now I can adjust that position by loosening this screw in here, adjusting the position of the cardan shaft without moving the wheel, and fastening the screw again. And that exact position again is the one that matches when the elevator stops, with the marble selector gates being in the middle position. So what happens when we put magnets on the wheel? Every time the torque is exceeded, the wheels disengage, but they engage in the next position where the magnets are attracted to each other, which happens several times per turn. And we need the wheels to lock in a single position in the entire revolution. So we need to find a better placement for the magnets. But before we do that, a quick ad from today's video sponsor, Onshape. Onshape is a professional-grade CAD and PDM system, and they are now offering up to 6 months free of the professional version to engineers and their companies. Onshape was built entirely in the cloud where every single action gets recorded, so you can revert back to changes you've made to your marble clock if required, and works in a web browser so you can share and collaborate in real time with others, similar to Google Docs. Onshape has a GitHub-inspired method of branching and merging so anyone in the team can work on their ideas about how to get marbles on the floor more efficiently, without disrupting the main design, and then merge that idea later if they want for maximum marble damage. And with Onshape, there is a single source of truth for everyone. So no more Marble Clock Mark III version 2, this is the one, this time for real. And Onshape works on nearly any device, even in the iOS or Android mobile apps. I highly recommend the engineers and product designers out there to check out Onshape. You can get started with Onshape for free at onshape.pro/Ivan Miranda, and now let's see if we can find a pattern for those magnets. The best way to make both wheels to lock only one time per revolution would be to just put one magnet on each. And that easily solves the positioning issue, but the locking strength and therefore the limiting torque is quite low. But in engineering, quite low means nothing. I need a way to compare the torque required to move up the elevator with the torque needed to trip the limiter, so we know it's gonna be doing its job. And I'm pretty sure that at this point, you're expecting me to build a very convoluted 3D printed thing to just measure the torque. But no, this time I went the easy route, went on Amazon and got a cheap torque meter, 3D printed an adapter to be able to connect it to either the cardan shaft or the limiter, and honestly it was way faster. But you see, Speed ain't good, and I didn't check exactly what I was buying. These are used to limit the torque when tightening bolts. And there is a small detail that I didn't realize. It can measure up to 340 Newton meters, but the starting measuring torque is 17 Newton meters, which is a lot. I've set up the torque limiter in the strongest holding position, where it is full of magnets, all the magnets are aligned, which means that every magnet is attracted by the one in front and repelled by the ones on the sides. And there is no way that I can move this by hand. There is no way. So let's see how much torque is required to make it trip in the strongest position. I even had to resort to print these two parts in carbon fiber polycarbonate from Prusa, proud filament sponsor of this channel, because they kept breaking on this test. That barely got to 40 Newton meters, and I can assure you that the cardan shaft will break with much lower torque than that. So, convoluted contraption it is? So here we are with the Miranda torque meter. The spring is printed in Pt.8, so it doesn't creep like PLA and we can get more or less consistent readings. So let's see how much torque lines we need for the elevator. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 13, 14, 14, and there you go. 20, 16, 16, 16, 16. The highest reading that I got was 20, and we will need to add something on top of that because right now it doesn't have marbles on it and marbles weigh. And honestly, it feels like we will need way more than that to break the cardan shaft just by feel, so we definitely have somewhere to start. Now I'm gonna try to find how many magnets is 20 lines. A single magnet is 3, 4, 5 lines. 2 magnets, 9, 10 lines. 3 magnets, 14, 14. 4 magnets, 17, 18. 5 magnets, 22. With just 5 magnets, we can bring the needle all the way above 20, but I would like to get all the way at least to 30 just to be sure that this doesn't trip by mistake. And so I will add a couple more magnets. And see, 7 magnets, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think the sweet spot is 7 magnets, it gets almost to 30. So I will try now to arrange the magnets in a configuration where not more than a couple of magnets are paired, unless it's the locked position. In this position, 2 magnets are locked, and on this one, just 1. So we are still good. 3 magnets locked in, 1 magnet, 1 magnet, 1 magnet. 4 magnets, 1 magnet, still good. 5 magnets, 1 magnet, 2 magnets. This one isn't good. I will move this one. 5, 1, and 1. This one is still good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 1, and 2. So this one isn't good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, and 2. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, and 6. Let's go for the 7th. 1, and all of them. At last, I think the safety torque limiter is ready to go on the clock. I've already tried spinning the drive gear, spinning the drive gear by hand, and it seems to couple just fine. So I think I will turn on the motor and see what explodes. So it works exactly like it was working before, so I think I will need to throw a wrench in there and see if the torque limiter works. Literally. It works? When the elevator gets stuck, the limiter decouples and keeps spinning. And when the elevator is released and the magnets on both wheels align again, it recouples and the elevator starts working again. Ha! It works! So cool! It works! This is going to save me so much time. I will get some marbles in and see if it gets stuck with the marbles. No fear! I'm fearless now. Fearless! I think I forgot that I cannot fasten this screw in a random position. It has to be aligned with the marble selectors. Give me a second. I emptied both buckets full of marbles and nothing broke. I'm not sure if the elevator stopped apart from the first time when it wasn't synchronized. But this is good news because even if it stops, it will not break, so I can keep making progress. And there is only one thing left to do. pick all the marbles from the floor, but now that's easier. Go and make something.